Kenyan farmer therefore should thrive economically, as it was the case years back. Our farmers must get maximum returns from their hard work. This will also boost our foreign exchange. We must rewrite history of the Kenyan coffee, which dates back to 1894. This brand was and still is known across the world by its superior and distinct aroma and flavor. President William Ruto and I have zero vested interest beyond saving the farmer. Indeed, coffee is a legacy crop for the Kenya Kwanza administration under Dr. William Ruto. Distinguished farmers, an estimated 800,000 smallholder growers in about 525 cooperative societies are waiting in hope. All eyes are glued to Meru. Farmers across the country are waiting the outcome of this conference. This Meru conference must midwife long-term and sustainable farmer-centered reforms in the coffee subsector. Distinguished guests, for this forum to achieve its goal, we need to collectively examine the current situation, and I invite all of you to speak openly and candidly in an interactive summit. I may just want to add a little and say, coffee production is down, and Mithika Linturi doesn't need to do much to increase production. Coffee production went down because farmers were getting nothing. There is no way you can continue putting inputs, putting labor into something, and you get nothing. The Honorable Moses Kuria, like myself, we are all products of this subsector. We went to school with the coffee proceeds. In the late 70s when we were young boys, and the early 80s when we were in high school. When you were admitted to a high school, the headmaster would interview your parent to ascertain whether you will be a problem in terms of paying school fees or not. And the headmaster would ask one question: do you have coffee? Once you said yes, you would be admitted to the school without any further question. Because a membership number of a cooperative society was much more credible than a banker's check today. Because coffee had returns, and it is working, it was working. We saw it work. We went to school through coffee proceeds, and today we are here. If it worked then, it must work now. And that is why we are here. Good people, history will judge you kindly. If from this conference you come up with practical and pragmatic suggestions on what we need to do to restore the coffee subsector and put money in the pocket of the coffee farmer. Honorable Moses Kuria and Chelugui, once you do what you must do, market our coffee at good prices, and the farmers get a commensurate return, production will be increased automatically without any further effort. That is the truth. The whole of this equation, the whole of all this trouble in the coffee subsector will be resolved by marketing and getting the right prices and removing the middlemen between the farmer and the consumer. Once that is done, as a country, we are sorted. Coffee used to be #1 foreign exchange earner for this country. Today, I think we are poor fifth. Once we get the prices right, once we remove the middlemen, which we must remove, once the farmer is empowered in a commensurate manner, coffee production will go up, the prices will be good, we'll export the coffee across the world, we'll get sufficient foreign exchange earnings, and our economy is sorted. So this coffee conference will not only just sort out the coffee farmer, but will sort out the greater Kenyan economy. Therefore, I have a few things that I want you to look into. And when the president asked me to do this work, he asked me to do it for 3 reasons. One, he gave a commitment to the people of Kenya that will sort out the Kenyan farmer, and he needed it sorted out. He asked me to coordinate the various ministries because, one, I am passionate about coffee because I'm a product of coffee earnings. So this for me is personal. Other than being deputy president, it's personal for me because I saw it work. And if it worked then, it will work. The president also asked me to do it because he knows me. One, I have zero interest in the subsector. Number two, I am incorruptible. Nobody can offer me anything in this world to remove me from the path of coffee reforms to get money into the pockets of the farmers. So I want to tell all those people who have been eating money from the farmers, the cartels, the middlemen, your time is up. Your time is up. You must give way and align with us, or we get you out. You must agree that is not business as usual. This administration of William Ruto is the administration that will sort out the issues of coffee cartels, tea cartels, milk cartels, and restore the dignity of the Kenyan farmer. And I want to say in broad daylight, I've seen all the cameras are here. I want to make an announcement to all those people who have been living on the sweat of the coffee farmers that what you have gotten is enough and is sufficient. You can reinvest it elsewhere. Going further, you must get just what is due to you. A little percentage, 90-95% must go to the coffee farmer. Na tukikubaliana, we don't want to get you out of the way. We want us to work together. I want this conference to consider radical reforms in the coffee exchange, which has been a ping-pong game among the very players. I want you to look at it, and why we have members of the National Assemblies here, we have the members of the Senate, we have the county governors here, is that whatever recommendations you come up with, we'll have a legislative proposal to anchor them in law. Then President William Ruto and I and these 3 good ministers will do everything possible to implement those reforms to the letter for the benefit of the farmer. I want you to look at the issues surrounding the Coffee Board of Kenya, because when Coffee Board of Kenya was there, things were working. When this subsector and others were all grouped together, they were not able to be accorded sufficient attention, and along the way we got in trouble. I want to ask this conference to look at the Coffee Research Institute. What was in Roiro called the Coffee Research Foundation then, today is a pale shadow of its former self. And that is one of the areas the rain began beating us. Research is important. We must come come up with recommendations. When we are looking at the coffee cess, what percentage will go to support the Coffee Research Institute so that it can be our institution of first visit to get the quality of our seedlings right, to deal with the issue of coffee berry diseases, to deal with the various challenges around coffee farming. I want to request you to consider proposing to these members of parliament on how to streamline marketing. As it is today, is unacceptable that the very people who are marketing are also mailers. They are also roasters. It cannot work. That is how the coffee farmer has been exploited. We know they register different companies, but they are the same people. And they are the same people who sit at the coffee exchange. They are the marketers, they are the millers, they are the sellers, they are the buyers. Huyu mkulima si maisha. And they are the brokers. That will be sorted out in Meru. And why did I choose Meru? Meru is the land of the brave and the courageous. Yes. Difficult decisions will be made here. They'll hurt a few people, but the majority will be happy. And we are sorry for the few people who will be hurt along the way. Lakini lazima mkulima apate haki yake. So watu 5, 10 wakiumia kidogo, marupupu yao ipungue, hakuna hasara tutaenda kubwa. We want you to discuss the coffee cherry fund, CS Cherry, that fund for 3 billion. Moses Kuria and I, we have been complaining. The uptake has been very slow. There must be a problem. Please sit down. Let's look why. How would we have 3 billion? We have already absorbed 500,000. And people need money, isn't it? There must be a problem about the whole structure, about the whole architecture on how to avail that money to the coffee farmer. This conference must sort it out. And that is why it's a 2-day conference. I want to put your notice, we'll work deep into the night. We'll work tomorrow deep into the night. We have 2 days and nights to sort out this coffee thing and this maneno forever. Na hakuna mtu amekuja hapa na mtoto ananyonyesha. Hakuna mtu yako na mtoto kwa mgongo. Na yule yako naye atapatia nyanya yake amshikie for the time being. So that we work late and we work very methodically, issue by issue. And by the time we leave here, we have the new interventions. Then these good members of the National Assembly, the chairman of Agriculture is here. The Senate is here. And I told Senate, slow down on the Coffee Bill 2023. Wait for this caucus. This is another very serious public participation now. Because these ones are not just the ordinary farmer. It's everybody who is who in the coffee subsector. So we'll get all the laws. The Senate bill will incorporate what comes from here. Then we go to the National Assembly, to the Senate. We get the right laws. Then hiyo itakuwa ni kibarua ya rais na mimi na hao mawaziri wetu na ma-PSs to implement it to the letter. You must discuss about KPCU. KPCU was a success story. Along the way, it is moribund. How do we get KPCU to what it was? To the benefit of the coffee farmer. We want you to consider this conference about cooperative societies. From where I sit, we lost it when we allowed greed among cooperative society officials to subdivide giant and huge coffee societies into many uneconomical units, therefore increasing the operational cost and the cost of production. We must make a decision how to take advantage of the economies of scale by pulling coffee together into huge organizations to bring down operational cost. And I want to say, after these societies were subdivided into uneconomical units, everybody wants to be a leader. And the marketers have corrupted our cooperative their societies and their officials. In fact, during elections for societies officials, the campaign is even more funded than the presidential campaign. Na wewe ukijiuliza hii wakulima wanataka kuwa chairman ya society, anatoa pesa wapi? Anataka kuwa treasurer, where would they get money? It is these marketers who give them money so that they commit them to reserve their coffee for them, and then they buy at the price they want. We want this conference to consider that we shouldn't allow any marketer to go and commit coffee beyond the season. Because those are the people who have installed puppets in every cooperative society for the benefit of the marketer. And this conference must deal with that through coming up with mechanism on how we put laws to protect cooperative societies. You must look at the issue of the pest control board. I've told CS Linturi. The kind of chemicals that are finding them in the market are no longer effective. Second generation pesticides and fungicides are in the market because the pest and control board is not working. And the farmers spend money, they spray their coffee, and nothing happens. That is something that we must streamline. I want to assure you that the fertilizer subsidy program, among other interventions, will go on. I will register the coffee farmers so that we are able to plan properly, especially now for the short range. In the long range, we had many challenges. We are just coming to government, but we are going to make sure that it is sufficient. So I want to assure you people, we made a promise we will sort out the crops. People have been asking me what happened. We were settling down. Now we have a fully constituted government. We have CSs, we have PSs, we have committee chairman. Sasa ni kazi. Tumeanza kazi ya wakulima. Na mimi hiyo nataka nikae hapo. In the next 3 weeks, we'll have another conference for tea stakeholders in the county of Kericho. We want all these crops, when we meet at the center of production, so that the environment is even right. Somebody was telling me we go to this conference in Naivasha. Sasa mambo ya kahawa inaweza zungumziwa Naivasha. So mambo ya chai, in 3 weeks time, all the stakeholders will be in Kericho, the county of Kericho, again to have a discussion. We'll be back. Tuko na mambo ya macadamia, avocado, and other crops. We'll group them together because we cannot have too many conferences for each crop. But at least coffee and tea should stand on their own because they are huge. We'll be back again to discuss issues of macadamia, issues of avocado, which CS Kuria has taken with a lot of energy, but we want to bring all the stakeholders together so that we agree what is it that we do so that we have sustainable solutions. Kwa hivyo mimi niseme, I have very clear and equivocal instructions from President William RUTO that we must sort out the coffee subsector and restore the dignity of the Kenyan farmer. And me, I'm a very obedient deputy, so I'm under instructions. So ile mtu atasimama kwa barabara yangu nitapita na yeye, kwa sababu pia mimi nachunga unga yangu isimwagike. Na mnajua hii kazi nimepata juzi, na mnajua vile niko na shida mingi. Sasa hii kazi sasa lazima niichunge, si ndio? So mnajua vile nilikuwa na shida mingi. Sasa hii kazi nimepata mimi, sitaki mchezo. Rais ameniambia go and call everybody, sort out coffee, tea, milk, bring the recommendations. And he is monitoring this conference. Even Linturi, Minister, and Kuria were in Belarus. He had sent them there and he called them back because he wants us to succeed. And they are important people in this conference. So, wale sasa kwanza huyu Mdeka, Linturi na Kuria, nyinyi ni watoto wa hapa Mount Kenya. Hii ni pahali ya kahawa. If this thing is not sorted out in your time, mtaambia watu nini Kuria na Linturi na mimi? Tutasema nini? Sisi ni watoto hapa. Hii wakulima wetu tunawajua, tunawaelewa, tunajua vile wamenyanyaswa na marketers na cartels. Tukikosa kuwasaidia, hata Mungu ataonana na sisi. Hao wakishindwa mwashitaki kwa Mungu. Mtawashitaki? Hao lazima wafanye. Na mimi nitawakalia vibaya sana. Tukimalizana hapa, within 2 weeks the law should be ready. Nao bunge, mtunga na wengine msukume. Mupitishe haraka iende kama risasi. Then mtupatie tufanye implementation. But I want to confirm, for avoidance of doubts, if there is an administration that will sort out the coffee sub-sector, it is the RUTO administration that I deputize. And I can tell you we have total commitment. Later this evening, I'll be able to talk to the Meru, the Embu, the Tharaka and the Navy people kwa ma TV zetu jioni. Yale maneno tumeanza kuongea ndio waelewe, so that they are part of it. Then on